good evening, guys. Well, thanks again for all your comments and feedback from the last video. I think it was quite popular, really, the doing the horse tutorial, doing it yellow and that kind of thing. So, so there must be a lot of interest out there from people who want to see this guy painted. So I'm happy with that. That's good. I was getting some more yellow and it's getting straight into it. I had a question again about the brushes today. So yeah, again, they're the Pentel brush that I'm using from, well, that's the company name, Pentel, and they're the Neo Sable brushes. They're like a, one person described it as like a golden sable brush, so maybe that's like the proper term for them. Like a synthetic blend between sable and like synthetic hairs. But yeah, they're really good. Like they're just durable. Like, you know, I paint a lot, so I'm painting every day, at least for like 2 hours a day if I can. So I need brushes that are really, really durable and they can last a long time. Yeah, I've got some really expensive brushes, but they just don't last very long. So that's why I had to look for alternatives, and synthetics are just okay. They don't really last a long time either, but they're a hell of a lot cheaper. And these particular ones, for example, because I've used synthetic brushes, of course, before, and you know, I've had sort of hit and miss results with those. But these ones here, they hold a very, very fine tip, and they hold it there. It's quite a stiff brush, so I really like that part of it. It's like it's almost got like some kind of wax in it or something that's sort of holding it in place. And yeah, I just find between these two sizes, the number 6 and number this is a 0, isn't it? Yeah, 0 size. That they do the hard work for me and get the job done. So they do need some shaping. You know, if the tips get hooked, like this one's sort of slightly hooking. So, you know, with a X-Acto knife or scalpel or something, whatever you use for like your hobby knife. Sometimes you need to shape the tips, but yeah, for the price I can't complain really. So, and they're really, in Japan, they're like, you know, you can get them anywhere from hardware stores, art and craft shops and that kind of thing. So, just adding that yellow before, I'm just going to try to highlight the starting now with some white in that mix. And I was thinking about today too, like about the special series that I was planning to do, and about with the monsters and that kind of stuff. I'm not going to do that, I don't think. I'm just going to keep them on the channel, and I'm just going to open up that Patreon page, and if people want to chuck in a few bucks a month to help me out, to get some new models or paints or things like that, then maybe have some prizes for people every month or so. Give out a prize to the Patreons on there. That'd be great. I think that's probably just a better idea. I just don't think I have the time to do any other special videos now. Thinking about it, that I'll be after doing this plus another video. I just wouldn't have the time to do it. So, which is good for you guys, because it means everything's going to be on the channel. All those sort of special projects will be here for free, but yeah, but more about that in the future anyway. See how we go. I'm not in a big rush. I'm too busy now with other stuff. But I want to keep the content flowing and keep going and just keep the momentum going. Raphael will probably be watching this. Posted up some really nice well, a sample of his Chaos Dwarf army. If you haven't seen it, and if you're on Facebook, go to the Hirohammer page. But I'll post up the pictures what he posted up today at the end of this video, so you can have a look at it if you're not part of Facebook. Just adding some of that orange into the yellow just to go into the recesses there to add a bit more warmth. I think I'm losing my voice. I don't know why. I haven't been talking today. So very croaky. Yeah, I did, obviously before priming it and all that kind of thing, I did try to seal up all the gaps, because every time you put a horse together, they're like multi-part, so the head and the tail and the two body halves are separate. Like, this is a bit rough, but I'll admit that. But yeah, I did try to put some putty on it just to seal up any gaps that were like really noticeable in the miniature before priming it. Thanks, Dan, for giving me the info on that horse. I can see now that, yep, it's definitely a not the barding, and it's part of the horse's body, so thanks for letting me know. I'm just going to mix some ivory, which almost looks like white anyway, into the yellow. Trying to think if I've got a yellow ink, but I don't think I do. I'll have to check. So yellow ink would look really nice on here, I think. So I'll have to check if I got any of that here at all. I think I might do. I might have a Winsor Newton ink that I picked up for something else, and I could try that. It's not like a yellowy colour, it's more like it's like a very orangey yellow. But I might try that just to get some more vibrancy on that yellow, or more saturation maybe. So I hope you guys are doing well, and yeah, thanks again, as we have reached more than 500 subscribers now, which is incredible. It's another milestone, because I was really surprised to get 100 people to subscribe to this channel, so to have 500 people is incredible, really, for me. So thank you very much. We'll have to do something special for that, another giveaway maybe, more brushes. Would be a good idea, as Dan's already won his set. So yeah, maybe, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, I think Friday we'll do another little contest for that, and I'll get another couple of brushes for somebody, a random winner. Okay, so we'll leave that for now. And let's see what we got here. We've got some kind of yellow. We've got a Sunshine Yellow. That's a Winsor & Newton ink. It needs a really good shake up, actually. But I bought these. They're not too expensive, about 300 yen. Japanese yen was about $3 American, I'd say. They're quite translucent, like as in they're quite watery, and they don't have like a very strong pigment in them. But I just like to put that on the palette and just see what it looks like. Maybe it would be a good choice for. Oh, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So I'll leave that there for now. Okay, I might that on there as a glaze maybe over that yellow, and just give more added warmth before we do the freehand on it. Oh, here's that river troll too. Raphael, you're looking about the river troll. There he is in all his glory. I'm really looking forward to painting this up too. So lots of greens on this guy, lots of really luminous greens and dark greens. Almost the same as the orc flesh recipe really for his skin, and then the scales are like a dark sort of a bluish green maybe. Yeah, so he's a great figure. So I'm still chasing the other two variants for these to complete that three troll unit. So if you do have them, if you have them sitting around somewhere and you don't want them and you want miniatures painted in exchange or something, then please contact me through my email and we can sort something out. So I'm just going to apply that. It's beautiful actually, it's worked out really well. Just that ink, just a little bit of water, just dipping in my water vessel there, and just wanted to see what that looked like over that yellow, and I think it looks quite nice. Just making sure there's no little bits floating around in there. There was quite a lot when I shook up that, before I shook up that ink. A lot of sediment there. So, but yeah, no, this yellow is really perfect for this actually. So I'm glad I found that. That's good. That'll make a big difference, because yeah, the photographs in that book I showed you yesterday, I mean, they obviously they manipulate those photos to make them look a lot brighter than what they really are in true life, but you know, they ultra saturate and like enhance those colors as much as they possibly can to make them the best they can make it. So, but yeah, but I think that ink has given it a nice more richer colour. Otherwise it can look a bit chalky, especially when you highlight yellow. It can look very chalky, and I didn't want that. Now also, in other news today, I did post up on the Hero Hammer group on Facebook about some kind of global campaign. Now, a campaign or some kind of global event that allows everybody, no matter where you are in the world, to participate in a either 4th or 5th or both editions of the game. It doesn't really matter. And play some kind of, 1-day event or 2-day event, or, we're still thinking about ideas, and I'm getting the community to sort of, think about what they want to do with it. I'm just sort of like, coming up with this sort of idea and saying, it's perfectly doable. It's just something that everybody, doesn't matter where you are, can get involved in with their friends in their local communities, in gaming centres or whatever, or at home or whatever they are. And, we can participate in doing something together and sharing those battles and experiences with the community. So we'll see what comes of it, because I'm sure we can do it. We've got plenty of time to plan. Nothing has to be done straight away, or has to be decided straight away. So we've got plenty of time to think about what we want to do with it to make it happen, and go from there. I think it'd be a great idea. Yeah, that way, logistically, it's really difficult for people to get to different capital cities and that kind of thing. Because it originally was just an idea for just the Australian guys to get together and have a bit of a reunion bash. And then even then, people are so far stretched out across Australia that they'll have to travel pretty vast distances to get somewhere. And I'm from the Gold Coast originally in Queensland, so I'd have to travel all the way down to Victoria, which is no big deal. It's just that you got to travel there. And anybody who wanted to play in Queensland or any other state will have to travel to get there. So this way, it's you can either just do it with your mates at home or in your games club or whatever. And that way everybody can get involved, and it may not just be one day event, it might be going over a month. So that way people have time to do it and they're not sort of constrained by a particular day or date to do something like that in. So, but yeah, I'm really keen to do something like that. But ideally, have people post up their results and their photographs of their games and that kind of thing. That'll be awesome. So, but I need people's help to do that because I cannot organise that myself. It's just, my workload, my life commitments just will not allow me to do that. So I don't mind coming up with some ideas and people helping me out and that kind of thing, but yeah, a lot of that organisation and a lot of that, I've got no experience in it as well, though I've definitely voiced that straight up. I've never done anything like that before, never been involved in anything like that before. So some people have, and they've talked about previous global campaigns that GW ran for Warhammer 6th edition and some version of 40k at some point. Things like something to do with Armageddon or something, I think, back in those days. So, yep, anything you guys want to chip in and voice your opinions on, you can do it here or on the Facebook group. Just let me know. What would you prefer, an actual campaign, a narrative-driven campaign? One of the guys said, how about we have something where during the campaign you're sort of unlocking different parts of the story, and a good versus evil kind of struggle somewhere set in the old world, and then after so many battles have been played, or after a certain week or month, then another section of the story will be unfolded, and something like that. Or someone said, how about we incorporate the original Mighty Empires rules into it as well. Obviously we don't make it too complicated, and it's going to, if we do that, it's going to have to rely on people having the set. I don't even have that set of Mighty Empires, and I wouldn't want to expect people to go out and buy or find one for sale just to play it. That's something to do with in a club or something. I say they'd be much better for that. But the idea of it appeals to me as some kind of narrative campaign, or just a round robin tournament style event, very friendly, and there's no winners losers type thing. It's just based on points. So it's you play a number of opponents in the day and your wins are recorded as X amount of points, and if you happen to be the player with the most points, then good for you. You've won you know, you won the day with the most points with your army, and but everybody gets a prize, and everybody, you know, gets some kind of acknowledgement for their efforts in their painting and army composition or whatever, or that kind of thing. Just adding some green. It's got goblin green here actually on my palette, so don't know what I was using that for now. Probably some basing or something, I think. And then to that little snaky dude there. Yeah, but that sounds exciting. I mean, it's far off. It's going to be either end of this year or next year before we can really consider doing something like that with what's happening now. But I think most countries in Europe, that is, that are sort of slowly relaxing their restrictions, and people, you know, things are starting to open up again. So that's positive anyway. Yeah, the quicker we can get back to normal, the better. I want people to game with sooner than later. So, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way. You know, getting together with your friends and that kind of thing, and having a game and having a bit of a laugh. And I think everybody's missing that right now. So I'm just going to outline this key that this lion's holding. In the picture, it's painted silver, so we're going to do some non-metallic metals here. Another person asked about the gold non-metallic metal I did on this guy, and I did on the Chaos Warriors. Now that's basically just like a white undercoat with sepia ink over the top with some bone highlights. It's quite simple. It's probably not the best way of doing it. To do it the long way, you would have to do it with like give it a base coat of like a heavy gold brown that I've got here. It's like a very goldy brown color. Give that a wash with the sepia and then highlight it up using the gold brown and ivory. I think that'll be a much better way of doing it, but this is like the quick way of getting that gold down there. I've got to apologise because my voice is just going. I don't know why. I haven't talked to anybody, very little today. I went to work, but I don't have any classes, so very strange. Well, it's just a bit cool here today actually. The weather has changed. We had like a bit of a warm spell and then it went cold again. So maybe that's got something to do with it. Now I'm pretty sure it's got black. So around here, to check those sleeves, what colour they were. Thinking probably red, I'd say. Now, let's go back to that horse. Let's have a look at that horse and just check it. Still drying there in the bottom recesses there. Brush away any excess ink. Yeah, looks good. I'm just going to leave that dry a little bit longer, but I'm quite happy with how that yellow looks now. I do have some, I probably showed you before actually, I don't know if I did or not, but I've got those Monopose high elves because in the Middle Hammer group on Facebook they're doing some Monopose challenge, painting challenge. So you can paint either one or like a unit of these any Monopose models from that period of Games Workshop's history. I think it's mainly 4th and 5th edition models. So I thought I just chose those two just as like samples to do, and I can do those on that channel because, you know, that I think people are sort of interested in seeing these older miniatures being painted. I'm really keen to do it. So yeah, if you're keen to see me paint those on the channel, please let me know. I do have a Shadow Warrior too. So Shadow Warrior is one of the Marauder miniatures that I think Ali Morrison would have sculpted and designed back in the day. And they're quite nice miniatures. I've never actually owned these before, so I've now got 8 of these, thanks to mate Stephen in Scotland. So yeah, I'm quite keen to paint those up and put a nice kite shield on there and do the. I really like the colours of the shields. I painted them black and did some like yellow moon designs on them. So I think they're quite cool. But yeah, they're not bad. I've just noticed there's a mould line on his helmet, so I need to remove that first. So. Excuse me. Rightio. Now, just gonna go more with that green there, goblin green there. And I'm just gonna wash out my brush and just grab some of that yellow. Looks like a very yellowy green, that one. And Justin posted up a picture of his steam tank, the original steam tank, still in box. It's still in its box. It's been unassembled, and I think he got it on eBay for about 60 quid, 60 pounds. So he's happy. It arrived today. And yeah, I really like the rules for the steam tank. I'm really keen to see. I've never played against one that I can remember, so I'm really keen to see how that plays on the battlefields. It's like it is a tank and it just continues to move. I don't know if you can stop it. I think you got like these steam points that you can use from memory when I read about it, and I think you've got to allocate how many steam points you use every turn to do certain actions, like how far you move and to turn and to shoot. I think that's how, like, the basis of how the war engine works. And there is some kind of like I think if you overexpend the points or something like that, the steam points that you use, there's a chance the boiler will burst and something horrible happens to your steam tank. I think that's what it did, unless that's the misfire roll. But it looks quite cool. I mean, it's a devastating piece of bit of kit. So, as a tank would normally, perform, it would just roll over troops. I think that does exactly the same. So if it comes into contact with anything, it's going to roll straight over the top of it, which sounds really fun. So. Yeah, hopefully you can get it painted up and used in a battle report sometime in the future. I think that'd be quite cool against the Screaming Bell, I think, eh? Screaming Bell versus the steam tank. Trying to think if it had any more questions from people yesterday. Haven't heard from Diego. I don't know where he is. He's usually posting up something every day. So Diego, if you're watching, let me know you're still okay, mate, because I haven't heard anything from you. So maybe he doesn't like Empire. Oh yeah, and I've got that Nightmare Games model that I think Angel will appreciate, because it's the model that I'll be using as that Black Orc character in the 4th edition book, whose name does escape me. It's not Gorbad, is it? Is it Gorbad? Don't know. I can't answer it myself right now, but he's like the the Black Orc warlord on a boar. It's they've got in the book it's a John Blanche illustration of him holding like a mace and an axe. He's got 2 banner poles on the back of him. But yeah, the Nightmare models that Kev designed, yeah, I think that'll be like just a perfect match for him. So I'll do him in the blue skin and all that kind of thing. So last night I was going through my Orc Boar Boys, and yeah, I just grabbed the other ones that I had, and I thought, you know, as I'm doing all the Orc and Goblin stuff now, I might as well just prep them all up. There won't be that much time, they won't take that much time to paint, so I can do one for the channel too anyway. And I might as well just get them all finished, so I have the full, well, including the other dude, the Black Orc guy. I'll have 10 all up, so that's my sort of target number that I prefer taking cavalry in is 10. And detail on here on this hat that he's wearing is not all that great, so I'm just going to do the best I can. I'm probably not even going to black line that, I'm just going to leave it. I think if you black line that's going to look really quite messy, so I think I tried to do it before and it just made a big mess. Horse is almost dry, so we can go back to that in a second. Get that done. I'm just going to just go over this in red because it's looking a little bit too pale, and I want it stronger to just contrast better with that yellow. So I'm just going over the yellow a bit there. And a bit of a shout out to Jimmy, I think it's Hendrickson, the one of the hosts on the Old World Lives podcast. We've just been chatting on Messenger, and he was talking about starting his own sort of old, like, you know, Hero Hammer style Orc and Goblin army, which is really cool. And then he showed me a large picture of all his models that he's been collecting. Really nice stuff too. Like, he's got all the big uns, and he's got the Orc warriors too. You know, he's got a smattering of goblins, night goblins, regular goblins. So he's got, yeah, a lot of those models from that era in that army. He just wanted to do like an old school kind of project just for fun. So that'd be awesome to see when he has that all starting to paint that up. And he's thinking about doing a high elf army of the same era as well, which would be cool because lo and behold, I don't play this game, but that Warhammer, what's it called? It's the PC game. Total War. That's it. Total War. Warhammer. They're releasing maybe some kind of data pack or something like that, where you can download the new characters, which contains Grom and Eltharion. So that's, wow, straight from the 4th ed box set where both those characters were introduced. So I thought that was a nice bit of lore they added to the game there. So I don't play computer games. I don't even have a real computer as such. I've got a couple of laptops, some are really old, and I've just got like a crappy Microsoft Surface Pro 3, which I would never recommend buying. Huge waste of money. But yeah, I don't actually have a PC to play all those games, which is probably a good idea, because otherwise if I did, I wouldn't paint as much, I don't think. Well, I think that ink is still dry, or still wet, or is it just really shiny? I think it's still wet. I'm just going to smooth that out a bit. So can't wait any longer. Okay, before I do the freehand, I'm just going to take some of that bone and the ivory, and just highlight like the folds and that kind of thing on his barding. Because it'd be pretty hard to do after I do all the freehand on it then, so afterwards. So Dan can tell me if I'm doing a good job on this horse. He's the horse expert. And I thought I've got a couple of other characters here too, the Empire, heroes of the Empire, so I might just prime them up, because they've got like the actual barded horses, like the armoured barded horses. And it's a good chance to do some freehand on their barding too, because I've got the Reichsguard captain. And who's the other guy? There's a standard bearer figure, but I can't remember what province he's from. Is it Ludwig? Maybe Ludwig is his name, I think. But yeah, really beautiful models, and yeah, why not? I'll get those primed up in the massive priming day, whenever that's going to be, probably on Monday or something, I'd say. And yeah, get those painted up. So at least I've got a bit of a head start on my Empire army, and I've got a few models. I've got the amber, no, not the amber, amethyst wizard too. So I like to. He's all prepped up. He's got the horse ready and everything. So I would like to get him painted as well at some point, even to use as like an ally for my dwarf army, because that was one of the reasons why I got it. That was before I even had the idea of actually having an Empire army. So just having that sort of magical support, plus it just makes the games a bit more interesting if you have magic in your dwarf lists as well, I think. So it's not like a complete phase that you're sort of not involved in. Of course I've got the Anvil of Doom, but which is nice. But pretty expensive, like for 200 points. It's but then I suppose if you look at the two champions you get, like they're worth about 48 points plus the heavy armor they're wearing, so it's probably like what, 52 points plus hand weapons, so about 53 points each. And so you're getting the Anvil for about 100 points roundabouts. So it's not too bad, I guess. But I wish it was just like a chariot that you can actually charge into units. That'd be if they included that rule, it'd be much better, I think. And then still be able to use the electric bolts from it as well, from the power card stored inside it. That'd have been awesome. Okay, now let's do some freehand. So I'm just going to blacken this eye, because that eye is going to be. It'd be better if I just do that straight away. Just do all the lining in first. And then after doing this, I'm going to go back to rebasing my orcs, my orc ball boys, and start working on those for a little bit before going to bed. But yeah, I'm glad to see some paint on this guy now. And there's one benefit for the channel for me. I think I'm sort of painting stuff that's kind of unusual that I probably wouldn't do straight away, and been sort of holding off until later on, that I think, oh yeah, I can start that when, you know, when I finish a certain other project or something like that. But you know, I do have commissions to do, so I do want to, you know, get onto those as well at some point. With those that wonderful ogre and that great swordsman for David that I want to paint up soon. So okay, so that's pretty much all the lining in we need to do right now. The legs and all that kind of thing, I'm not overly fussed about, and I think, yeah, Dan had some good points on the underside of that horse, how to paint that properly, but he paints it the same way. Like, he actually assembles everything, puts it on the base and paints it. And he's probably right that, like, the size of this handle here, the girth of the handle is just too wide for me to get my brush under there, so I'll need to switch out my brushes and change that later on. It's not such a biggie, it's just going to get done later, and probably off camera. I mean, it's not so important. I mean, actually having to paint the horse would probably be better than having to muck around trying to line everything in, and you guys watching all that. But then, you know, I'm not editing these videos, so it just makes it easier for me. All right, so I know it's going to be like black stars and that kind of stuff. And it has like these sort of like really cool looking swirls around his eyes, which look awesome. Doesn't look too bad. If I need to make any corrections, I can do that with the beige or ivory. If I needed to, maybe they're a bit too long. It's probably going to clash with these ones here, but we'll see how we go. Maybe they're a little bit too long. So if you're doing freehand and you're not really sure about doing it directly on the model straight off, you can just, as I said before, you can just write it on or draw it on a piece of paper a few times. I'm trying to do some banners for that Azag the Slaughter at the moment, and Just having a lot of trouble with the designs as it's so small, and I'm just having to repeat it over and over and over again. So it might take me an hour just in practicing, drawing all those sigils and until I'm happy with it. And if I'm not happy with it, then I'll just do it again and again and again. I'm not really happy with a lot of those on there, unfortunately, so I'll have to correct some of those, but this one's not too bad, but this one here is not so good. Some of those I need to correct. So as that's drying, I'm just going to do some stars. I think he had like all different size stars, didn't he? I should have had that book here close by so I could check it, but as usual, I've put it away. Okay, so you get the idea. So to continue that all the way. All the way along different sections of his barding until it's all covered. So if I'm gonna make a correction, I might just grab some ivory in that beige there. So if I want to sharpen up something, for example this star here, and I noticed that some parts were not exactly straight or the way I wanted it. I can just do that and just shape it up. Like so. And then on this eye here, I know there's some parts I didn't like. So yeah, just going back and correcting things and then going back to the black if I need to. I think this eye is pretty good. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that one, so I don't need to change anything here, maybe just sharpening up like that. Going back with the black again. Yeah, I still probably need to shape that and just get it to where I'm really happy with it. Sometimes it will work for like the first time. Sometimes it just take, you know, a few attempts to do it. And I think my voice is just about going, guys. So I think this has happened every year. I get something wrong with my throat, and I don't smoke anymore, so it can't be that. Changing the weather, I'd say, but yeah. Okay, well, it doesn't look too bad. Even that little slight adjustment there made that flame look a little bit better. But yeah, let's leave it there today, guys. It's 52 minutes in. I think we've done enough, and I'm pretty tired, and I just want to just kick back and watch a bit of TV before going to bed. So hope you enjoyed that video. Tomorrow we'll continue with finishing off all the freehand on there, and start painting the horse as well. And yeah, trying to get this guy finished. He's probably about 70% done, I'd say now. So just finishing off all these other little bits and tidying him up before mounting him on the horse. So yeah. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. Please leave your comments below. If any questions you want to ask me, I always encourage questions from you guys to ask me during the video so I can answer them. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one, and just after this video you'll see a really wonderful looking chaos dwarf, so check it out. Okay guys, take care.